And welcome everybody, we're back here after so long. Man, I can't even remember when the last time we made one of these podcast episodes because so much shit has happened over the summer. But yeah, we are back here. I'm back here with you, with my good old buddy, Pat. Hello,
what's up, homie? And what's up, homies?
So we are simply in here for a quiet half hour on this random Tuesday. I'm sitting here enjoying a little bit of a American gunfighter bourbon whiskey, which is actually it's a double cask, so it has been in normal bourbon oak barrel bourbon casks first, and then you it's been taken out, and then you put it on port casks. That's where the double cask meaning comes from. And I will send out a recommendation for everybody who wants to, especially Danish people, if you are in Denmark, buy the Gunfighter from McY AS, because that's the company that my friend is working for. But if you're from the US, then just buy it at your local store, I guess. The Gunfighter American bourbon whiskey, port cask finish. It has that very nice that very nice dark color to it, and actually it has kind of like sweet notes as well.
Troy, you asked me when we last uploaded the podcast, and that was January 28th this year. So it is 6 months, 6.5 months? No. Yeah, 6.5 months.
That's insane, man. That like half a year has passed without even realizing it.
Well, you've been busy. You hit your exam period. You were doing some re-exams, and then we came up on like summer, real damn quick.
For sure, man.
Wait, really? 28th? Wait.
And in my defense, it also has been a quite odd semester for me, I think. Like, I mean, like this was the last semester of my the last semester of my master's where I actually have real school in a way. So that's kind of been weird for me that I'm never actually going to be in class anymore after this point. And I mean, yes, it was bound to happen eventually. I'm 30 years old now. ought to get out in the job market, and now I am. Like started working for a company in Denmark that does media. It's a media bureau that like it works with social media and stuff. So that's interesting. But it's like there's a lot of new stuff, and I guess that's why I wanted to make a podcast, because like they're like filled up with so much, I don't know, energy that I need to get it out there. And plus, like right now, I don't have my homies back in the dorm that I usually like get all this stuff out with, so I need to get it out somewhere.
Yeah.
So now we're here. We catch the thoughts with the microphones once again, and that's good. I think it's good.
I think it is mildly therapeutical. So what have you been doing?
Not just mildly, actually. I think it helps quite a lot. I mean, it's still like it's not the same as talking to a shrink, you know, like which both. Let's be honest. At this point, both of us could probably benefit from. I mean, if we were millionaires, no doubt I'd be talking to some professional about what I'm thinking about every day.
Me neither, man. And I would still be wearing the same T-shirt that says "beer" with large capital letters and drinking a large beer.
Yeah, for sure, man. But for sure, if I would need some sort of
I would say that
some sort of profession.
I would say that everybody does that. Because there is nobody that goes through life feeling all chipper and smiling, unless they're complete psychopaths. And I encountered like a few of these people, right? And they were like the go-getters at that fucking bullshit construction firm I used to work for. Always goddamn smiling, always being pumped after having worked out, and always drinking white wine to try and seduce a customer to pay $250,000 US for a new house.
Yeah, and that doesn't sound like problem material.
Yes, absolutely. It
sure does.
It was like this is like the kind of person I'm going to stay way clear of.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like, this is just like, and especially in a society like ours, where like things are much more. Well, you were talking to me about, you were writing to me a bit before about before we started the podcast about screen time. Like our society has become much more ingrained inside that square box that we all call a screen, and it's like we're being hypnotized by it. We're not like not as good as connect, like, at least that's as far as my theory goes. We're not as good as connecting with people.
Hey man, I got like a question about that, by the way. Because I was like following this thread for Norwegians in Denmark on Facebook, and then they start to talk about like the Danish elementary school compared to the Norwegian. And somebody meant that like the Danish elementary school was a huge problem, because when they're like putting grades on people or students, it's also not about how well you're like doing your job in the school. It's also about how active you are in the class and how much you're raising your hand, like pick me, right? While in Norway it is not at all like that, or it didn't used to be. It used to be like this in Norway, that if you were fucking good, like let's just amp it up to high school, right? If you're good in Norway in high school, before like they come with like this new laws about attendance or whatever, you could just show up to the finals, all right, and then
and then ace them right on the spot.
Yeah, and then ace it right there on the spot, and then you could just like defend it with that, like, yeah, well, you know, I've been fucking studying at home, amping up for this, right? And I haven't really been interested in going to school because this isn't really what fits me. I got like the curriculum of like what needs to be read and what needs to be learned, and I fucking learned it. And you got a problem with that? I got a lawyer, I got a shrink, I got this guy, I got this guy, I got this guy behind me, right? And the teacher will be like, no problem. What university would you like to go to? But again, like they changed this. They changed this like in the recent times, and I think like the new laws in Norway has like been a little messed up, because I'm listening to my nephew talking about how it is that like he can't really be sick, because if he's sick in high school, they're going to require him to get a doctor's note, just like if you're sick in Germany from work. But the problem for him is that their school wants this like a paper signed by the doctor, and he would like have to travel an hour with like bus ferry into Oslo, get to the doctor, and then to the school. And this is like time that he loses because like this is not accounted for when he delivers the note to the school. Then he still loses absence time for the hours he spent getting this paper.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. So there definitely is like, but it's the same thing here to some degree, that like the reforms that they've made in high school in Denmark is also like they're like trying to optimize everything. Like everything needs to be weighed and calculated, and like there's a certain amount of percentage of absence that you can have before you're simply like expelled from high school.
Like,
and that's like frightening. Like it's much less than it used to be too. Like I remember, like I had like 10 to over like 12% absence in I think it was nature geography, because like I didn't really like that class. Geography. No, it wasn't geography. It was like natural. It was some bullshit about volcanoes and some shit. And I was like, well, it's like the part of the reason why I hated this so much was like there was so many presentations in class, and I've always hated to do presentations when I'm not when I'm ill interested, and when I'm not prepared for it. So like if I'm not interested in the class, or if I'm not prepared for the class, then like why show up? Why bother show up? That's always like bothers
yeah,
me.
man. It does. You mind if I jump in just 2 minutes there?
Yeah, luckily it was only that one class where I had like that much absence, but that wouldn't have gone today.
No, man.
Because today, like they're like combining. You only allowed to have like 10% absence in total.
But this absence rules, they're like completely nutter. Because I did the same in like English class in high school. I like skipped every English class, but I showed up with like every assignment and every test, right? And I was like sure that I was like acing it, but still, I was like getting Fs, and I was getting barely passed, right? So after high school, when I was like supposedly to graduate, then I was like, fuck that, I'll just take a year and do whatever, go to the gym, and then go to a private school that my dad offered to pay for, right? And I'll just fucking take these classes up again so I can go to uni or whatever. And as soon as I went there, right, and I like took the few tests, I got like A's straight away in English. And I asked the teacher, "You want to bet what I got in public high school for the same test, right?" And they were like, "Yeah, well, wasn't it something like this?" Nope, got a fucking F for the same shit.
Wow, that's such a big spread though. Fucking from
because here
you just from going from a public school to a
because there you have like an older woman that was like was accustomed to like how the old school worked, that you was supposed to like show up for every class, be active, right? And I didn't do any of that, so I was just constantly just branded as a slacker. And if I did anything good, then well, he must be a cheater.
Wow.
And then I think like it was like one of the assignments was to review a book, and I thought like, well, shit, I'll just review the book that I just read, which was Dexter. Right, and
the based on like the book that the TV show is based on.
The Dark Passenger or something like that. And again, I was just instantly fucking effed because of it, because like the teacher didn't agree with that's not like a real literature and blah blah blah, right? And and I was saying, well, you know, the dude is married to Hemingway's niece, right? Who's been very, very appreciative and supportive of this book, right? And again, like, I was just showed down as being like, it's not real literature, it's not a real book. I'm still gonna F you.
No.
But you're totally right. It's such a spread, and then when it was in this private school, it was a totally different experience than public high school, because the teachers were actually caring about it, right? And you would just like sit down. The first day you got there, you was like sit down and being like, all right. What is it that you want, right? Achievements or goals, right? You want these, you want C's, you want B's, you want A's, right? And you would be like, yeah, well, I want to spend an enormous amount of money, and I want to take up every class in high school to get into medicine, become a doctor, right? And they would be like, yeah, well, okay, you want to do that? Then this is what we're going to require for you, that you put in this much work, that you do this and that, right? And then on top of that, they were like, yeah, you know, like we know how these people think. We know what tests they're going to try, and you like lure you with, you know, like trick questions when you're like retaking the high school exams, right? Which is happening on like a public premise. So you're like really getting helped a lot, and you're also told by these teachers that like you can call them whenever the fuck, 24/7. Call me at 3 a.m. if you have a question about an assignment. I'll pick up.
You know, like one of my professors at university, ironically, my literature professor in German literature, he is the same way. And that's university. That's university level, which is like strange, because usually, like, I actually think he's pretty much the only one who's ever said this. But yeah, not this semester or this last semester, but the semester before that, the first semester on my master's education, he was like, and for this assignment that you guys have to write, which is like I don't know, it was like 10 to 12 pages in German. He was like, yeah, you just call me. You just write me an email. No, don't call me, but like, you write me an email, and I will be awake at 3 a.m. in the night, checking your emails, being able to, being ready to like answer your questions and guide you through this. And like, granted, I didn't do this, like, didn't take him up on this, but it's nice to know that the dude is so like
that you have the offer to do so.
But the good thing about it is, like, this made me realize I'm going to write my master's thesis with this dude, because I literally don't like the other teachers. They might care as much, but they sure don't project that they care as much about their students. So yeah, I will definitely write
exactly, because this person has an energy that you are feeding upon, that is motivating you to be like, fuck, I can do this, because here is a dude that is like actually caring about students, who's actually trying to amp people up and pretty much saying that, hey, I'm available 24/7, whatever. I'll be here. I'll answer you. And you know, like, you're not in this fucking whatever German university studies alone. You know, like, I'm here. I'm with you. I'm pushing you up that hill.
Yeah, exactly. But now that we are talking about like energy, I'm just going to put my headset off here for just 2 minutes, because I'm just going to go to my closet and get another bottle. Hold on. won't take long. Won't take long. So I will take a picture of this and send it to your Discord now. But the viewers won't see the bottle. But I can describe it to you guys. So the bottle that I will be tasting now, because I'm going away from the gunfighter whiskey and going to the slightly more Scottish whiskey now, which is a Highland single malt Scotch whiskey called Borrelegs, and it has a Viking theme to it.
No, bare legs.
Yeah. It's that's the English one, but you would in Scandinavian you would say bor. In Danish you would say borlegs. But in Norwegian you would probably say borrelegs.
I wonder, like, when was the first single malt whiskey produced?
That is probably a long time ago. Ever since the Scottish civilization has existed, I guess.
15th century in Wales.
I would assume.
Yeah, that's the best estimate people have. So that would be like the 1600s.
And if I had to describe it to you, it's slightly peated, but that makes sense because it's as I can gather from this box, it's unchill filtered. Don't know what that means really, or well, I do know, but I just forgot it. Yeah. So it's from the Isles.
Unchilled and filtered. I know what that means. It means that when it is being like stored, right? It usually is in like a temperature chilled. Right, but like this has not been chilled. It's just been like matured, probably like room temperature in an oak cask or whatever, and it has been filtered.
And that's what gets this. That's probably what preserves this peated, smoky smell. Because it's really. Like it's not peated. It doesn't say peated on the box, so it's not like really smoky, but it has a slight smoke, a light peated smell.
And that they haven't, and that they probably haven't changed barrels when storing it. I don't know if that says on the bottle. Like baffled me.
No. That. They usually like. No, it doesn't.
You know what baffled me at the vineyard in Croatia, because I just assumed that they just reused these wine barrels indefinitely. Right, that they make a wine, clean it, and then make another wine in them.
Yeah, but at some point the wood is. I mean, it takes a long time, but at some point the wood is going to be, like all, not what do you call it? Not moldy and not falling apart. But at some point it's going to be like, it's going to be saturated.
The dude said to me, "Hold it." The dude said to me, "We used the barrels once." And then I'm asking him how much are you paying for the barrels? And he was like, about between 150 or 200, between 150 and 250 euros per barrel. And my jaw just fucking dropped, being like, what? Like, send one of these barrels home to me, man. I'll make use of them.
Yeah, I mean, like, you definitely have to use them at least twice, because you can get, after the first use, you still have the flavors from the first batch in it. So then you can like get that. I mean, you need to utilize that in order to get it into whatever you're putting in there.
When I heard this guy's story, I was like, okay, I'm never going to buy a vineyard in my life, even if I had the money for it.
No, because there's like apart from all the hard work that you have with like keeping it up and with upkeep and shit, there's like so much bureaucracy.
It is, but in this case, it wasn't bureaucracy that like bothered me. It was the amount of time from you plant the first grape till you actually have a wine.
Oh yeah, but that's no different with whiskey though, and also also the bureaucracy for a whiskey distillery is insane. Like that's why actually, according to my friend who works there, that's why a lot of new distilleries they fail, because they're like too eager to get whiskey out.
If you're rich enough, you'll just buy a distillery that is looking to retire, right? And then if you're like really fucking lucky, you'll find something in that basement of like barrels of whiskey from like one of the decommissioned distilleries from the islands, and then you're like, holy shit, I just hit the jackpot. I just have like 160 liter huge oak barrel here with whiskey that I can sell.
With whiskey from the 80s.
With whiskey from the 80s that I can sell for fucking 50,000 kroners a bottle.
Yeah, and that's not what most people are doing. Most entrepreneurs, they have the spirit, they have the drive to start their own business. They have the drive to. They are like very eager to read up on the whiskey process, on the making, but they don't have the what do you call it? The sustainability. They don't have the endurance to keep up their business.
But also you would need an insane amount of cash reserves, because like say that you're like, yeah, I'm gonna build a distillery, I'm not gonna make whiskeys, and then I'm gonna sell them, right?
Yeah.
And then you would be like, okay, cool, I'll make the whiskey. Now I'll get set up. I'll get like all the shit done, and set it up, and then you can like probably pump out cheap whiskey single malt in what, 3 years, 2-3 years?
No, like whiskey as a minimum, and that includes all whiskey. That includes the cheap Jack Daniels down at the grocery store. It has to be stored for a minimum of 3 years.
So 3 years.
And then you go upwards from
so there. You gotta like get something pumped out in like 3 years if you can't wait any longer, and then you also gotta get buyers for it.
And that's like at this point that's mostly middle-aged men.
I'm still curious as to how the whiskey can even be so cheap. You know why? Because in the past 12 months, the price for glass has gone up 60%.
For a glass?
No, like for the glass, for the material, for glass, for making. Right.
Oh, right. Just
for the bottle.
Around the whiskey. Well, I still think that compared to the time it takes to mature each ounce of whiskey, then the cost of each ounce of glass is still significantly less. Like it's probably a fraction. of like I mean, like we could do some quick calculations. Cost of ounce of glass. I mean, we don't.
Fuck it.
Like this is boring.
Let me get back to the wine story though. So from they planted the first bush or grape tree or whatever the fuck, right? Till they got the first bottle, 8 fucking years. And I'm like, what? Why the fuck did it take 8 years, right? And he's like, well, blah blah blah. When we did this, then Croatia hit like a heat wave, and the dirt was no good, so we had to like plow all that shit up again with the tractors, get some new dirt in there, sow do this and do that, right? So then after that, then we had the grapes, and I was like, oh, fantastic, right? And then we had to like get it up and running in this production facility and get it in the processing barrels, very similar to my Brewster Beacon, right? Just much larger.
Yeah.
With garden hoses and and all that crap. And then finally becoming like matured in this. It was an oak cask. I think it was like sherry casks they were using in this cave, and then finally bottling them.
Well, there can have been
oak.
That would be a triple cask then if it has been on. Like oak, like sherry casks can still be oak in the same batch.
It was like sherry or rosewood. I think it.
But it could not have been whiskey and.
I think it was rosewood casks. When I think about it, and then. And then it was like the production of like getting it into bottle. Wait, before this. Then getting it into bottles, and then again they were storing the bottles in this cave, right? Meticulously going into this cave every fucking day to turn the bottles left and right, to make sure that there isn't any yeast or shit bottling up in them, right? And then labeling it, and then finally selling it, right? And I was standing there and like thinking, holy shit, 8 years from planting the first, from buying the land till you've had the first bottle.
Yeah, but now it makes sense, right? Why the liquid is much more expensive than the glass. Because it's a tedious fucking process. Yeah. Like you have to be really determined and not just like crazy about the taste. You have to be crazy about the process. Like this guy, but that actually ties well together with what we were talking about at the beginning. That there's gotta be actually something therapeutic about the process of making this drink or making whatever, because at the end of the day, what are you dealing with here? You're dealing with plants, and plants, whatever it is in our world, the plants have something healing, something therapeutic that we can't quite explain. It is something. Plants are somehow magic.
It is because you think about plants and forests and trees and all this shit, right? It's quiet. You can like walk through a forest, right? And it's
not a loud T-Rex that's just crawling.
Yeah, man.
And they didn't live for very long either. They lived for. They lived for 30 years.
It is therapeutical. You're like walking in the forest. You like hear your foot crunch over all the branches and pine, right? Um, and you know, like not hearing a sound other than maybe the birds and insects, right? But
that's another topic that we can maybe discuss in another podcast. The theory of the hypothesis of mine that or the thesis of mine that like aggressive living beings generally live shorter than slow beings. Like the Galapagos turtle, 140 years. The T-Rex, 28 years. I just googled it.
I'm just like comparing all this, right? Like just like peaceful living, right? Taking a walk, meditative, right? And then I want to mention it, but I'm not going to mention it, but a certain borough in New York City that you walk through it and you will have like armed teenagers listening to rap, hip-hop music, and you walk past them and they will be like yelling, "Hey, what the fuck you looking at, old man?" Even though you're just 30. Yelling after you like, "Yeah, keep walking."
Wow, some tortoises have been known to live 150 years. That means that there's tortoises on this earth swimming through the Atlantic right now that were alive in 1850. That were born in 1850.
Imagine what a peaceful life they're living.
Yeah.
Just floating through the oceans there, being like.
That's fucking insane, man.
Oh man,
all right.
I got like one more thing I want to say. I felt like this was like fucking insane. I was in this zoo in Denmark, right? And then we are in the wolf section. And the wolves was like howling like crazy, right? You're like, whoa, like they're like due to the moon, right? And apparently, and then like they're acting like crazy, and we're going in there like they're fucking jumping up on the glass, trying to get in, trying to want to kill, right? And you know why it was? It was because some dipshit had their dog within, and they could smell it.
Oh my god! So the wolves were able to detect the dog as a rival animal.
It's a scent, right? They wanted to kill it.
Wow!
It was like insane, and they kept howling. You know, like the whole time we were in the zoo, like they kept howling, right?
But that's just the instinct of the carnivore. It knows no boundaries. It's like it's just primal. It's not logical. It's like animals. They don't have that logic that says, "Yeah, I need to behave now." No, they're just like there's an enemy.
Insane, man. And then like right after this, like we're finished in the zoo. You know, Give is good, right? So we're like we're going to drive through, and we're driving through the lions after this, right? Or tigers, right? Tigers. Even they are like on fucking walking, like prowling along the fence to the wolves, right? Because they're like, the wolves have the scent of something and something to kill. So it was like a chain reaction between the predators in the zoo.
Wow, that's fucking amazing. I just swallowed the rest of my boiled eggs. 46% Highland single malt whiskey. Is it me, or is all Highland whiskey slightly
peated? Slightly peated. Like I agree with you.
Not a lot, but just like, and it's gotta be because it's from the Isle region, you know, the islands. Like there's something about that region, even though it doesn't say peated on the box, but it's like
I have
There's
I have
something
like
about it,
I have something. I have a story for you here. The first whiskey I ever drank was when I was 15, and it was an 18-year-old Highland Park single malt. And like how it happened was that like one of my friends was like home alone or something down the street, and we're like, "Hey, Pat, can't you just bring one of your dad's whiskeys while he's on the oil rig?" And like I got the sauna fired up, I got the jacuzzi fired up. And the whole experience is very similar to the Lenny experience in in Red Dead Redemption, right? And I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll bring that fucking bottle. And I don't know what it cost. It was like probably like 1,000 kroners for this bottle at the time. And I bring it, and we're like sitting in this fucking sauna, hammering this 18-year-old single malt, a bunch of teenagers. And like, you know what happened next? I wake up in a fucking wheelbarrow in the middle of the woods. Yeah, because they've been like, oh fuck, man, Patrick has started puking and he's like going to pass out soon because we're drinking too much single malt. What the fuck do we do? Your dad's gonna be home soon. I know, we're just gonna wheel him way the fuck out, way in the forest.
When you say wheelbarrow, that's the one you use to like move stuff with when you're like working in the
So I'm waking up without my damn shoes on, fucking 5 kilometers out in the forest from my house.
Wow! Oh my god! Like the first time I tried an 18-year-old whiskey was when I tried the Glenfiddich 18-year-old, and that was with my that was much more civilized. So it's not as fun. It's not a funny story. It's just just wanted to try it, and I was like with my grandparents in Germany, and they was like, yeah, but like I bought this 18-year-old Glenfiddich for 85 euros. It's really cheap, and people and my family they don't know shit about whiskey, so they were just like, what? You bought a whiskey for 85 euros? That's insane, man. That's insanely expensive.
No.
And no, it's not. It's like 600. It's like how much is it in dollars? It's $90 for an 18-year-old.
It's a very fucking reasonable price.
Yeah, you could easily pay like $100 for that shit. Even more, 150.
Yeah, your parents strike me like very much like this guy I met in Connecticut in the U.S. Well, I was like pondering what whiskey to buy in the liquor store, because I thought like, well, fuck, man, I should buy something and like bring back to Denmark, right? I ended up buying a Bullet bourbon.
What's a Bullet?
They drink it all the time on this show. That was before I went there, though. I'll send it.
Oh, it's probably like a shot.
No. It's just the name of the bourbon.
Right.
Bullet Kentucky Straight Bourbon. Like it's this shit for I don't know, slightly less than what it is on this page, right? But here's the thing, like the guy was like, take my advice for it, son. You know, you wanna buy a whiskey, like don't go for that expensive crap. You buy one of these plastic gallon bourbon whiskeys, right? And I'm like, what the fuck am I am I gonna do with a 4.7 liter plastic bottle of cheap bourbon whiskey? And he's like, yeah, it's no problem, man. You just get a shit ton of ice, a bunch of real Coke, and then you're set.
Yeah, I can greet you and tell you that your interpretation of my parents is completely wrong.
They wouldn't be like that. It wouldn't be like that.
No.
So he said, quantity over quality always, son. If you can get a gallon for the same price as one of these bottles,
like fuck no. My especially my mother would disagree with that statement.
I thought that was hilarious.
Definitely. Yeah, but anyway, so like we're already on 45 minutes, and I don't know if we have some like final closing remarks here for this very unique podcast that has taken like half a year to
How much what time are you on? Like I'm on 46:17, 46:20.
Yeah, I'm on 46:24.
Okay, so like 1 second
25.
apart or so. Alright.
Nah, it should be the same though. We started it with the trick with the watch together.
You'll sink it. I have faith in your abilities.
Anyway, it shouldn't be too much that it's too much of a problem. But yeah, I will say thank you guys so much for tuning in again. To that one viewer out there that we maybe still
we still have like 71 subscribers.
But now
we do.
But now, actually, like one final thing I want to say is like as I said in the beginning, I got a job, even if it's just an internship at this media company that like does social media marketing, like almost promotion. They have like these 3 Facebook pages, right? And these 3 Facebook pages, they promote job what do you call it, job ads, you know. And what I'm doing is like making the posts that then promote these job ads. And now for the first time in my life, I'm actually feeling like, damn, I can actually reach thousands of people now when I write a sentence, when I write something into the post, and then like I plan it, I upload it to their Facebook, and then damn, the day after, I have like what I have written has come out to like thousands of people here in Denmark. So now I have all of a sudden like. It feels like I have quite a bit of. I mean, I know I don't have like the power myself because it's the company that's like behind this, but I have a little bit of power to actually influence what is being written in these posts. So that's pretty interesting. But like, yeah, that was just a detour. Anyway, so thank you to the one viewer that we have influence on with this channel, and. See you in the next one, wherever it may be.
Peace out, cholos. Don't forget your damn whiskey.
Yep.